hello. How is everyone tonight? I hope you are all doing fine. Give me but a moment or two to share this wonderful thing out with everybody out there. Um, I am sharing this in the places that I share normally. Um, we will, of course, be coloring my character Dust Angel, which we drew up last night. Tonight, there we go. Here we go. Of course, Metal is still finishing up the vomitorium, so after he'll probably have something to eat. And then, let's see. We want to change canvas size here. There we go. We want to convert brightness to opacity. There we go. And also, you never know who else is going to come in, so. Okay, so also now to I'm doing it on the wrong layer. There we go. So I do have two basic color things I've done with them. This one and this one. Not sure which one I like more. I think I like this one more. So let's take that gray. And put it in here. So now we're getting the color in here. I might expand this later and see whether I can complete his wings on both sides. So, nobody's here. Shoot it out. Uh, well, I know what I did wrong in some ways on this. The arms do seem really, really stiff. Then again, I messed up on the pose too. Uh, oh, yeah, I didn't do his feet. And then I gotta do his claws too now, so gotta fix a few things here. As they say in post. Hello, hello, whomever is here and watching. So this week, I was going to say what we're playing this week. I'm not sure yet what we're going to be playing. Oh, I think Blade and Soul. Hey, Elric! How are you? Trying to think. I might do the helmet a different. Yeah, you know what? I can always change it. How are you today, Elric? Hey, Eagle. I'm good. A crazy day, winds blowing at 30 miles per hour with gusts in the 50s. Whew. Okay, so we have a red here. I used the same red for the wings. I think I'm going to try something slightly different. And I think I'm gonna. The winds are usually dangerous because they can cause fires. Oddly enough, it was a cold system with humidity. And now it says, "He goes!" Okay, so I did all that stuff the same grade as his body. I think I'm going to change that stuff to different colors. Question is what? Orange, no. Thinking green, no. Hello, Gamatron. Not sure how long it'll last, but it's 3 a.m. Yeah, that's no problem. It's just nice of you to stop by for sure. Just trying to think what color. Anybody got any suggestions for the eyes? I'd almost go with almost a glowing red. Oh, Elric, the visual novel that John and Marsupial are creating. If Marsupial comes by, I gotta get him to come on to show you the picture of the one paladin, the one character. You would really love it. Why does Dust Angel look sad? 'Cause Well, first of all, that's a helmet, but why does it look sad? Probably because, well, he probably made it that way because he is miserable himself. Because he sided with Satan at at the fall of Lucifer. Sided with Lucifer at the fall of him at the rebellion. So now he's doomed to hell, and he knows it. So, which will not be a pretty place for him. Oh, I thought he got dust in his eyes. He get it because his name is Dustin. Yeah. How color make his eyes? Guess we're gonna go with red, and then later on we're gonna try and make them glowing or something. Although these are eyes on a mask, so. Rick, so James Patterson, the shadow will be. Rick, so James Patterson, the shadow will be awful. I'm not sure what you mean. Is James Patterson playing the shadow? Oh, why didn't Eagle say? Why didn't Eagle say hi back to me? It's so sad. I had a feeling, Eagle. Elric, hello, says Eagle. Oh, Elric, did you know Eagle thinks you're addicted to your wrench? He wants you to give up your wrench because he thinks you're addicted to it. Eagle is going through a realization that everything he loves, is now going to be destroyed. It'll take some time for him to come to terms with it. Why was there more news about updating the shadow from modern times again? What? Sounds like the shadow has been hot. Descendant that he'll meet. Howard, you can time me out if you want. Great, and she'll be the bestest ever, right? Says Elric. And there is Metal. Hey, Metal.
Hey. My sound should be working now.
Yeah.
The problem was earlier, and it was Discord's fault. It went and changed some of my default sound device settings. I went into my sound control panel and fixed it. It does that from time to time.
Lovely. Well, that might have been a few times that I heard. It's been more than once that, what's his name? Marsupio's gone echoey on the show. Yeah. So that's probably why it is then.
Yeah, if it changes my default recording device from my virtual, what's it called? My voice meter. If it changes it from voice meter auxiliary to my actual microphone, it'll start injecting people's communication voices into the microphone instead of the way I have my system set up. But if I go and fix it, everything should be all right.
Rick, will you destroy the female Snowdrift assassin? Next, also, there's no female Snowdrift assassin. As much as you might like. Gamertron, you have not committed heresy. You're good. Gamertron says, that didn't stop me from timing up Bullet earlier today. Yeah, Gamertron was on my High Noon chat and said she had never had a wrench here and something to that effect. So she never had something about the power or whatever, I'm not sure. So it was nice, gave her a wrench and then she went and timed up Bullet and then I took the wrench away. I think she said it just to get the wrench so she could time out Bullet just to get it taken away. Rick already killed the card. Eagle said, not to mention, Ulrich says hello. Eagle said, not to mention, it's going to be based off the radio since right off the bat they say Laban Cranston's secret identity is his shadow instead of the other way around. I thought it would be funny, and it was. Ulrich, time someone out. Or time someone out and give up your addiction.
Wait, but Lamont Cranston is a secret identity. His real name is Kent Allard. You know, the identity hiding of the Shadow goes layers deep, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it might even that might not be. Yeah, that's true. It might not even be his real name. As far as we, the reader, know, it could be Kent Allard, but it may not be.
You always keep.
That's kind of the point of the character.
Keep you guessing, so no one can ever know.
Yeah.
We assume he's Kent Allard. Kent Dillard?
Because in some case, all identities of the Shadow are secret identities.
Change canvas size. This way, that. This way, that.
You know, the Shadow is kind of like Hydra in some ways. with his network of agents. Having other people working for him and helping him out, he's kind of like being everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
I think that's also what kind of makes him cooler than Batman, though.
Yeah.
Is the whole like network of agents.
That's what I love. The first time I was like, oh great, just Batman after learning his true identity isn't even really known, just assumed by the readers, like Eagle said. Yes, someday we find out Bruce Wayne is not his real name, Batman's real name. It's just an identity he's taken.
No, he finds out it's not his real name because he found out that his family actually weren't Waynes. It goes back before him. He wasn't even the one that knew. Now that would be a twist.
Okay, now I gotta figure out how I want things to go here.
Oh yeah, I'm only just now seeing this, but Marsupial told me right before or when we went live or whatever. Because Mrs. Dillard will tag us in posts when John's on another channel. But she tagged me and Marsupial in a post when we were already live on the Vomitorium. So he responded with a link to the channel we were on. Moving on up, Rick. Moving on up. I went up from level 62 to level 65 in Phantasy Star last night.
Yeah, I heard you saying that on the Vomitorium. Cool.
Yeah. I probably would have got higher, but at some point in time, which I should have taken that time to stream Octopath, but I set up the whole rig for everything, and then by the time I set it up, I'm like, I really don't feel like streaming Octopath tonight. And then I just took it straight back down. And, but they went on maintenance in the middle of the night. And like, no! I was getting into a groove. So I spent that time working on stuff instead. Which is what I probably should have been doing.
Yeah. Hush is the real Bruce Wayne trying to get his identity back, says Eagle. Batman is his real name. Bruce Wayne died when his parents were shot.
You know, I actually hate that that's basically the modern incarnation of Batman.
Why?
Because really, Batman being insane is something that didn't come until like the later half of his life cycle. Like, sure, there's a certain level of trauma, but the idea of making Batman survey Gotham because he's a scarred individual is not as heroic as Batman surveying Gotham because he just doesn't want the same thing that happened to him to happen to anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think it's because people, over the years, they still try to keep Batman a little hero, but they keep giving him a little bit of flair of anti-hero here and there that just won't cross a line. And we're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
that just doesn't feel like classic Batman, you know? Batman is a noble guy who blends into the shadows because it's just how he works. He deals with the crime on their level, but he's still a hero. He does heroic things. Well, the modern one does
Yeah.
too, like, and that kind of fits with the whole insanity thing. And if we scroll backwards, Batman killed like all of his villains until the Joker showed up, and that's just because the Joker was so popular he'd make a good recurring character. Batman also used to use guns, so
Well, who knows the madness that lies in the hearts of women's eyes? The shadow knows.
yeah, of course he was a ripoff of the Shadow. And the Shadow has actually some pretty sweet guns. I think it is much cooler though when the hero is has to kind of like is forced to kill the villain. And if you want to bring him back, you just realize that like the hero thought he finished him off, but the villain still lived. It creates more of a dramatic tension because then even the hero is surprised that the person came back. But you can only do that so many times.
Yeah.
You do that too many times, and they're like, "Man, if you thought you killed him this many times in a row, and he keeps coming back, you must be really bad at your job. Like, check for a pulse or something. Dive down those cliffs after him. You know, get a rope and rappel. Figure out what's going on, man. This guy keeps coming back." I think there's like very few exceptions. Like Solomon Grundy is the type of villain that you could do that every single time because just the nature of the villain.
Yeah. Uh, oh, Thunderstorm. I like when Doc Savage throws men into the depths of a special void only to be driven insane in the void for decades instead of killing them. A fate worse than death.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Not to mention, Ulrich says, when the shadow offed his enemies, he would get them the same way they got their victims. 43 says, the Budo Master in his first story appeared dead when he went over the side, but came back. Dr. Savage College, where the go for electric shock therapy. I'm not sure what Eagle's trying to say there.
I think he's implying he needs electric shock therapy so he can understand what words he's putting down. Fine-tune those neurons again, man.
Hello, Mr. John Dillon. John's not on here, Pope. At the moment,
I did just see him, but he had to go get food. Because he was at the end of the vomitorium. Oh, speaking of, I need to go and grab the video for today so I can turn it into an MP3.
Pope Raven timed me out. Don't time anybody out, Pope Raven, unless they've done something wrong. Just because they're literally asking for it.
I agree, Bullet. Literacy is a gift. And maybe, if we fine-tune those electrodes just right, we could shock that gift into other people. Bring in the Literacy Inquisition.
Oh, today is Wednesday. Do it. You must. Pope Raven says, I could never time you up, GMT. Elric says, he got Chick-fil-A for dinner. He filleted a chick for dinner? Jeez. Didn't know you were into cannibalism.
Oh, I think Bullet just realized today was Wednesday when I said the vomitorium was earlier.
I'm an evil robot. So Eagle says Doc Savage has a college where he sends criminals to get electric shock therapy to make sure they lose their memory and turn from their evil nature, and releases them out into society.
So basically he has his own insane asylum. Since back then, that's basically what insane asylums did. It wasn't very effective, mind you, but that's what they did. Because it turns out you really can't shock the evil out of somebody. The best you could do is lobotomize them and turn them into a walking vegetable. Shock therapy does help with a lot of things, though. It used to help with people with seizure problems early on. And one of the problems with it was, for the most part, people actually weren't being tortured by shock therapy. That's something Hollywood likes to glorify. But it was such a very, very new technology. And it had a lot of, I guess, backlash and negative press about it. That before it could really be fine-tuned and perfected, they had to stop applying it on people. But you still get low-dose therapy now that helps people with different ailments.
Gamatron says, I'm a pope in Discord. How much more proof do I need?
Yeah. Yeah, at the time it was pretty new, but that's what they were doing.
Yeah. Now pretty much shock therapy is a thing that, well, they used it, I think, a lot on the mentally ill or whatever. And it made them more mentally ill.
Yeah, it can help with schizophrenia as well. If it's low voltage, it's basically like giving your brain a massage. You know what I mean?
Let's
And
see
they'll just
what.
leave you on it for a while. It's when they turn it up when the amplitude's too high. That's when you start getting problems.
Let's see
But
what.
the technology has been researched a lot more than it was back then.
Pope Raven, just so you know, if you time out GMT, your wrench will be taken away. Rick timer. Rick timer. No.
Honestly, Rick, that's what you do. When people keep trying to goat other people into timing them out, you should just time them out real quick. And make them suffer for, instigating.
Yeah, I could do
Lay
that.
down the law.
Don't listen to him. He hasn't got the guts. I do, because I have several times taken people's wrench for that very thing.
Like if you start timing people out before a mod gets to, and there's no punishment on the mod end, you'll see people probably stop asking to get timed out pretty fast.
Possibly.
I got guts. Guts. I used to love that show. Nickelodeon's Guts. I want to climb the aggro crag. What was the biggest one? Was it the Mega or the Ultra? I want to climb the biggest aggro crag.
Okay, let's try your idea. See what happens.
You ever see Nickelodeon's Guts?
I'm not sure. It didn't have
So it was kind of
cable,
like
so-
American Gladiators, but with kids, and they would take like talented athletic kids from around the world. Usually, people who competed in like youth sporting events and things like that. And you could basically show your achievement and offer to get on, and they'd pay for your trip over there. And they would take 3 kids per episode, and they would compete in events. So they would like they'd be hooked up to a bungee cord, and they'd have to do like shooting basketballs into hoops while jumping really high and stuff like that. A bunch of different things. And by the very end, they all had to get the most points to win the show, climb this mountain that was built inside of this filming studio / warehouse called the Aggro Crag. And all 3 of them were hooked up to their, safety cords. And they had to climb up this mountain. Like foam boulders would roll down on them. Fake smoke would pop up to make it hard for them to see. And whoever got to the top would get the most points. And often, the Aggro Crag gave you enough points that if anybody was close in score, you would win.
Cool. And how did it feel, Bullet? It felt sad to have to do that. To try and make a point.
Yeah.
Pope River's like, wow, Rick, how could you? Apparently very easy.
And somebody owns the Aggro Crag, the last iteration of it, whatever it was, like the Mega Aggro Crag. And a few years ago, I think it was like 2017, had it in the studio warehouse still, and let people like pay to climb it if you would make it all the way to Burbank, California. I don't think it's still open, but
Well, especially right now.
yeah, especially right now. But somebody owns it.
Or Kira.
I wish I owned it.
The aggro crab was awesome, said Elric. Now the question is, will Gamertron be back? I
don't know.
Today.
You know, the thing is too, it's pretty late.
Yeah, it's
over in the UK. Probably just decided to go to sleep.
Yeah. Why would you pick up GMT? I picked on GMT. I was unaware.
Yes, I do remember the show. Salute Your Shorts.
I thought GMT was asking for it, quite literally.
Yeah. Be right back, going to cry. Oh, I forgot to ask though. The James Patterson book. Patterson's a pretty good author. Is that being written as a novel or like specifically a pulp fiction? Like, is it going to have a lot of pictures in it, or is it just going to be straight up just novelization?
Hopefully they will bring back the pulps when the new Shadow fails. This is Elric. Yeah, I'm not sure how you do the Shadow modern day. I know we probably talked about it before. Well, the network would probably be easier.
Oh yeah, you'd be able to slip some cool things, like maybe the Shadow has like a direct IP server on the deep web that you can only access through the Onion router, and only his network know the IP to get to it. But then at some point it gets cracked, so he has to like change his mode of operation. Like, there's all kinds of cool things you could do with modern day stuff.
Yeah.
Considering the look of the cover, I think it will just be a novel. Okay. Well, I mean, it's still interesting. I'd probably, depending on reviews, give it a read. Patterson's a good writer. It may not be a good Shadow book, but if you took the Shadow out of it, it might be a good book. It's still kind of sad, though, that you'd have to do that. Like, why can't you just make a good story with the character the way he is traditionally?
They have the cover out now, says Elric. Yeah, I'd give Eagle the link to share it, but I'm afraid he'd time somebody out.
Oh, well, he put it in your Discord. I could share that.
Oh, okay.
Here, let me copy this Twitter link. Put it in here for you. Oh, I'm on the wrong channel still. That's right, because I'll do it after I finish downloading this. I keep getting distracted. I need to get the video from the stream today.
Cameron says, I wasn't asking for you for it, Rick. I feel so violated.
Patterson probably just has his name on it. Yeah, like he's probably just the what they call the lead writer, because Brian Sitt's name is on it too, and he's probably going to be the one doing most of the work. Which is not uncommon for stuff like this. Yeah, it's not a very good cover. And it doesn't look like the shadow on the cover. If you're going to read a book about the shadow, wouldn't you at least want to see his, like, huge red scarf wrapped around his face? Yeah, just generic detective. Ugh.
Well, maybe that's why. Let me see on my Discord. Yeah, it doesn't look too. It even doesn't look too eye-catching, too. I wouldn't even think it's about.
I'll put in the chat too for anybody who doesn't want to go to your Discord. Finally able to jump over. No, this download. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my bandwidth all of a sudden, or maybe it's just a problem with YouTube in getting the information. But it keeps bumping between like 13 minutes left and 1 day left. So I don't know what's going on with my Vomitorium download right now. It's already been like 50 minutes, so I figure it should be done processing. I really only need the audio from it.
Well, sometimes it takes an hour or so to process, or maybe 2 hours. Or it says generic is even too good for it. Like, I would never associate that cover with the shadow character.
Yeah, definitely having problems with the network out of nowhere. I just lost connection for a little bit.
Oh, okay. So it might be losing metal here and there.
Possibly. At least it went fine throughout the whole podcast today.
Yeah. Yeah, so I look at that cover for the for that. I would never connect that cover just because it says the shadow, I would presume that it's about the pulp hero. I wouldn't even presume it that much. If you only need the audio, you have a new. Have you tried NewPipe on Android for just FTPing it over to your PC?
I don't like FTPing things from my phone to my PC. And right now I'm using enough of my USB slots that I can't dongle it directly, so it'd have to be wirelessly. I mean, I can always cancel this download, grab the link, and I could use clipconverter.cc and only grab the MP3 out of it. That, I could do that and just chop off the ends where I need it. That might be a faster download. But I'm not in a rush at the moment.
Yeah.
I basically only need to have this up by,
Okay, I think we lost connection with him again. You there, Metal? Yeah, I think we lost connection. Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, you can turn me down a little bit, Mother.
Yeah, lost network connection again.
Yeah, I forget what you're saying.
Yeah, I was saying, I just need to have it up by 1 o'clock because that's when all the podcast sites, 1 o'clock my time, I think, is when they do, the rescrying.
So we have Metal back, that's good.
Yeah, you're probably going to lose me a few times if this keeps up. At least it just seems to be that we're low bandwidth. It doesn't look like the internet's cutting out. I don't know what would cause this throttling, though. Could be Windows updates. I don't know if all other devices hooked up to the network are doing it, because Windows updates are really bad with consuming bandwidth. But I have a notification right now that my computer needs to update.
Yeah, I got one earlier, too. I think.
So that means all the files are already on my device, but who knows if the other devices are downloading it.
I'm having it do it while I'm sleeping.
The first Shadow Pulp's original cover wouldn't be good either.
Maybe. Do you gotta look for what they look like? Eagle? No? Uh-huh.
Now, pulps, because a lot of them were originally distributed through magazines before they got their own, they're printed in magazine size, right?
Yeah. I think you went out again there for a second or two.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I was just asking, because pulps are usually distributed in, group magazines together before they get individual distributions. They're usually printed in magazine size, right?
Yeah. But he said no, he does not have a link to the original. Wait, the black background with the shadow isn't original.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Uh-huh.
I might come in and out while I'm gone, but I need to go wash off my plate, so
Okay.
hopefully my internet will be acting better by the time I come back.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully. But the Shadow was so popular, he got his own magazine. Yeah, well, the thing is, they didn't know that he was going to be so popular when they first created him. You never know what's going to be popular, really. I'll tweet you an image of the original. Uh-huh. We'll go take a look. Hey. Do 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 dun 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 dun. Shit. The Shadow, a detective magazine. April 1931. I mean, the cover of Soy is just awesome. I won't even call it Shadow because whoever knew the cover was not even Lamont Cranston. The Shadow.
Yeah. I even just checked with Buck on my way out. He's not having problems, which means we're just having a total bandwidth drop at the moment. And because I'm the device furthest from the router, I'm the one that's suffering for it. But that is, well, other than the podcast, I kind of have to do the podcast and streaming in here. On your show, I could have moved everything over to my workstation and been working on stuff, and I would have been a lot closer. So that's kind of my own choice.
Yeah.
But man, is it a pain in that butt to move everything over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a pain when you have to do stuff like that. There's only a way for you to have a permanent station that you could work at and everything, eh?
Yeah, but that's not viable with the setup.
Okay, I tweeted the Shadow First cover was the one that was reused from a previous story. Oh, I think I already.
I have a question for Eagle. Why does Eagle worry about having a wrench to drop links when he could always just drop the links in the Restream live chat on your Discord?
Because sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, although it does appear to be working at the moment.
No, yeah, I'm getting the feed in Discord.
This is why I have 1,000 feet of Ethernet cable in my basement, says Gamatron.
Yeah, I would actually need something that long where I'm at, just because of all the twists and the turns. I used to have 100-foot, but also with this setup, it really wouldn't be that viable to do it unless I don't know, stapled the cord to the ceiling and ran it around everywhere. And then underneath the door frame, it would be ridiculous. Because for the main router is all the way in a den that was added onto this house in the very back behind the garage. And I'm in a bedroom on the opposite side of the house. So you'd have to pass from the den, through the kitchen, through the dining room, through the living room, down the hall, and into this room. It's actually a pretty far distance.
Rick says, autocorrect, you have committed heresy of the highest level by making me say, I like the new Shadow cover. Well, I don't know what to say. You can't exactly time out autocorrect. Actually, you can. Turn it off. There's a way of turning it off, isn't there?
Yeah, you can turn off predictive speech and autocorrect. Though a lot of times it turns itself back on anyway. Because, you know, the phone thinks it knows what you want more than you.
Yeah. Buffering, said Eagle.
Yeah, but isn't it always buffering for him? I swear he's like 6 minutes behind half the time.
That's what he says. The Restream live chat works for After Dark. Well, sometimes it even works for high noon.
I thought it did today because when I woke up and checked my different Discords and stuff, it showed that there was stuff in the live chat.
Yeah. I think I got it working again a couple days ago, so.
Yeah, today at 12:23 p.m. And at 11:44 p.m. because, you know, every time they block it off if there hasn't been a chat in a little while.
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm going by my time, so you'd have to add an hour for each of that. For you.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, those. I'm good, no buffering here, says Howard. Also, earlier today, I did do a little bit more on this piece. I'm going to make the webbing lighter, but I made it darker just so I could see. I got in the wasp and the 2 fire guys. I'm going to do more on them later. And I still have to color part of Iron Man's armor to see through. And just so I could have a bit of a background, I did something generic. Circle thing for the gradient. Cross. Why are we having a close-up? Because I was coloring a certain part of it at the time. So, oh, and I got Spider-Woman colored too. There's a few minor things I still have to do there before I start shading.
Oh, did you go with my color recommendation for the background?
Which was?
I said to go with kind of more of like a tealish sky blue.
I went with some sort of bluish. I was going to go purple, yeah, but it wasn't working, and then I switched over to. But yeah, working
originally to go with a blue that was close to the the glow that you were using for Iron Man.
Okay, Elric's hearing me echo. I don't know why you're hearing me echo.
Are you echoing?
He goes over in Discord now, putting out links. I don't hear myself echoing, but anybody else hear me echoing out there?
I can faintly hear the TV in the background like a couple seconds later. Very, very faintly, like if I'm listening for it.
Yeah. Or channel names. Crotch comments. No. That's what I hear then says. Elric. Hey, like I said, Eagle's putting some links in the chat via Discord. Yeah, I might actually. I could take away everybody's wrench except for like 1 or 2 and say, if you want to post the link, use the Discord.
Yeah, on the days that it's working.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened a few times is with going over to Twitch, sometimes there's bots that come in there, and at one point I was timing them out, and I think I was timing out the Restream bot instead of, or I was banning the Restream bot instead of the bot from my chat, because I wasn't doing it in Restream, so that, messes things up that way. And then for my bot to access the one, I have to give it superhero class hero status. We're saying, dear God, I keep seeing that god awful cover my head. It's almost as bad as the Last Jedi movie as a whole. What, the one for the novel thing from that writer, Elric? It's not bad. thing. It's just really not. Doesn't say shadow to me.
Yeah, if you were writing a generic, like, detective noir, it wouldn't be the worst cover in the world. It just doesn't have the shadow in it at all.
Did the coloring book fund yet? No, not yet. We are at $183 Canadian. Well, but since I got a flexible goal, that means I'll get the money. So, no worry in that sense, really. Technically, everybody's gonna get their thing, and at the moment, it should be enough money to get. Well, it'd be more than enough money to get like 11 books printed. My dad actually is going to be putting $35. He's buying 5 books himself, but he's just going to give me the money directly, so I can include that sort of money in at the time. And Ulrich said yes, that was the cover he was looking for. Talking about. Yeah, if it was probably for something else, like I said, you look at that and it doesn't look too bad as a cover, but certainly wouldn't think it's about the shadow. I didn't know you had a father. Technically, everybody has a father, but it's just whether they know them or not, or whether they're alive, or all sorts of things like that.
I think you just assumed that God the Father was going to give you money for your book. Hey, here you go, Rick. I believe in you.
He's doing it for people. But although I wish it was a little bit more direct, like you were thinking. Saying, I thought you were a virgin birth. No, not me.
Or you're just walking down the road and you see a bush that's on fire, and then just like almost like a vending machine, it just spits money out of it. Like, there you go, Rick, and then the bush like puts itself out. You pick up the money, you look up, and then it's gone. Like the bush was never there in the first place.
That would be weird. I think I'd freak out.
It'd be an experience.
I think I might freak out with that one.
You know, I don't think I would. Because I don't think it'd be the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know how that could be the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your life. A burning bush spits out money and then disappears.
I don't know, man. I've seen some pretty weird things in my life.
I've seen a few weird things too, but I think that would definitely take the cake.
Ulrich says, after this stream, I need to go listen to one of the 2 Razor's Fist Shadow radio dramas, where he took some Shadow scripts and had some people go through it. You should go listen to the Shadow cast. That I'm sure Eagle would recommend that too. You'll learn all kinds of useful things over there.
Yes, Mother?
Like the old Shadow radio program?
Yeah. What about it? Okay, that was a little weird.
That was it?
Okay, good night, GMT. Ulrich says he's subbed to the Shadowcast already. Okay, so I'm not going to talk
Oh, that's good.
about this color scheme. I'm positive that's bait. What's up with all of the chat?
Oh, I think at this point we just kind of ignore Rick's color schemes.
Yep, probably best or it'll drive you insane. Because I color to the beat of a different drummer. I don't care about color theory.
You know, you should. It's not that far off. You should change his color scheme to match Imperial Dramon from Digimon.
Okay, I'm not sure who that is.
Here, I'll send you a picture of Imperial Dramon.
Although I did have two. Well, I changed his face up a little, and obviously I had to change with the way I changed the boots. I had to change the feet a little, but I've actually had two different color schemes before. There was the one, which the one I went a little closer with this time. Which is one I think I ended up saying I was going to go with to myself before. And then this was the other one.
I'm gonna message it to you in Discord.
Okay. The drummer that wears colors too, please. Because it says Dillard.
It was from Digimon Adventure Season 2. And it was the fusion between Vmon and... Or it was X-Vmon and Stingmon.
Yeah.
That's what he was, yeah. And it went from Pyle Dramon into Imperial Dramon Dragon form, and then it would transform into this, which was like the Knight form.
Dillard says, yeah, both.
And you see how the color scheme's actually already pretty close. They just put the colors in better areas.
Yeah. Backgammon. And Malatiri says, I'm having problem with my eyes, or is it another Rick specific color scheme? And Ulrich saying hello to Mallet and Dillard. So I'm not sure whether you saw the two color schemes or not.
Yeah, I saw them.
Thanks, Albert, for realizing my superiority. Just because he mentioned Mallet first before Dillard.
Backgammon? Are we going to play some backgammon? Man, it's just in and out with me today.
Yeah. I heard you said, are we going to play some backgammon?
No, that's it. I didn't say anything after that.
Just nobody responded. Looking sharp there, Ulrich. If I knew you were raised right. It's always proper to greet those closest to the grave. Actually, technically, we don't know who's closer to the grave. Because we never know what's going to happen to any one person from day to day.
Well, unless you're a gravedigger, then you're always pretty close to the grave.
Yeah, true. This is the dumbest technically yet, right? Hey, Willie, how are you? Maybe the dumbest, but it's the truest.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, we don't know who's. You don't know if you're going to go outside, get hit by a car, lightning, something like that. Not everybody lives to be 105 or something like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's the truest technically that's ever happened on your show.
Okay, maybe that's true. I don't know what would be the truest.
Maybe the truest technically was Dillard saying that's the dumbest technically yet. You ever think about that?
Yeah, and I'd say no. Unless he knows when everybody's gonna die. Just because you're old doesn't mean you're closer to the grave than somebody that's 2. Unfortunately. Rick, did you see John's drawing for his game? You should put them in your amazing coloring book. Well, I would, but they are not Cross Comics characters, so I know you will die before me, Rick. How do you know, John?
Oh, because he made a deal.
With who? The double?
No, the other guy.
Yeah, well, I don't think God forgoes for those types of deals.
Oh, I didn't say it was God, I said it was the other guy. I think his name is Sam.
Is he his uncle?
Oh.
You should probably take Dillard's wrench for putting a Mexican. Rick, is this your newest main character? Your new main character? Rick, is that your new main character of the Canadian Shield? No. This is a villain. This is a demon. Named Dust Angel. He looks way better. curses says Eagle.
Just because he's a demon doesn't mean he's not good, according to Dillard.
Okay. Well, he wants everybody to be miserable, so God kicked out angels. God kicked out angels for any dumb old reason. No. He only kicked out the angels that rebelled with Satan or Lucifer. According to Scripture, God isn't stupid. God loves me. He says, why is the demon better looking than the Canadian Shield? Well, although he's not Lucifer, Lucifer is supposed to be, I'm not sure whether it's scriptural or whether it's just sort of canon. He was supposed to be the most beautiful creature ever created, so, and appears as an angel of light, according to other scripture. Yes, he is. What other scripture, Dillard?
You know, the other one.
Oh, so the other one that we're not supposed to be going by. Or the one that we're not supposed to be going by. How do I say that correctly? I think it's just the one that we're not supposed to be going by. Not the other one we're not supposed to be going by. Because that makes it sound like we're not supposed to be going by the one that we are. You're going by yours because some old white man told you to. How do you know who told me about the gospel? But no. And technically, it wasn't because some old white man told me to. It was a younger white woman. Although I was a kid at the time, so she was an older white woman to me. And it is about a Jewish. I'm following a Jewish carpenter, so.
It also depends how much stock you take into the Book of Enoch. Because the main canonical texts use, like, say, fallen and demons interchangeably. But the Book of Enoch does specifically refer to them as different things. So, you know, there's a lot of different room for variability.
Although, I don't think there is a reference to a Book of Enoch in the scripture. I don't think the one that we have right now is the one that they're referring to.
Because it's like Enoch 19 or something, but the book doesn't go that high. So we're missing some text.
Yeah. I also hear some scripture here by some dark people that said God is super fake. Who do I believe? Well, you test it. that is the one way that you can sort of test God to see whether He's real. And there is a whole bunch of evidence pointing to the truth of
Yeah.
Scripture.
Different people thought different things at different times, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you look at the different temples and the eras or periods around them, and you can see, too, that even classifications in later periods, they just thought losing your rank from heaven because different forms of being an angel was almost like a job in itself. That demons had no difference in ranks or privilege. But
He cut out. Also, the idea that books.
you could say a lot of it comes from revelation, like, maybe later people learn things that the earlier did not know because of revelation, but there's arguments to be made.
You went out there for a couple seconds.
Oh, what was the last thing you heard?
I forget exactly.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, things vary from time periods too.
Yeah,
right? Like if you're looking at the early Jewish periods, the different eras of the temples all thought different things, and you could claim that revelation might be how later people had come to what they know, and maybe they know more through revelation. But there's arguments to be made.
Yeah. Also, the idea that books have to reference each other is super sketch.
Like, for example, depending on what part of the temple, there are differences between the being referred to as Halel and Samael, and in later temples, they refer to them as the same being.
Do you guys know about the law of attraction? Rick, I'm not listening, confirmed. I'm only half listening. I get concentrating on something and forget other stuff too easily. And how is books referencing other books super sketchy? We have that today. People challenge Rick's beliefs. He just shifts.
Well, and it's also.
And there goes metal again. I wonder whether he realizes it when he cuts out.
No, I hate that it keeps disconnecting while I'm in the middle of saying something.
Well, your last words I heard was, he also. So basically, right at the beginning of whatever you were saying.
Yeah, I was saying, like, you have to think, too, that the biblical texts aren't the first cross-referential canonical text. It's just the longest running one, and where we get the word canon from.
And not referring to the thing that you shoot people with and things.
Oh man, this is frustrating.
Oh, did you say something?
Yeah. Like the second I got started, I timed out again.
Lovely. And I just read the synopsis. Dear God, it's generic and awful of the new Shadow novel. And no, I don't stop not think. I just don't. Unfortunately, I don't know my apologetics well enough. I've heard a lot of it, and unfortunately, I don't know. It doesn't always come to memory easy. Yes, yes. What debate? There was a debate?
Where was the debate?
I don't know. Pope Raven said, did Dillard win this debate? And then Dillard said yes. Didn't even know there was a debate.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm only getting like on average 1 megabit per second up right now. I just ran a speed test.
Not good.
What I was saying is, you can even find some other societies whose, I guess you could say, their religions didn't last, right? Like Sumeria,
Yeah.
Babylon, Egypt. A lot of them had cross-referential stories to each other, where they would quote earlier stuff. But you know, the Bible is just the longest canonical text because you don't actually have something that goes all the way back to River Valley up until the turn of the modern millennia, which is the one before the one we're in, the Common Era.
Using apologetics is a crutch. I can't work. If you can't work something out using common sense or dead reckoning, you're just regurgitating propaganda. Come, let us reason together. Yes, but you can use apologetics, learn stuff you've learned from them, because I have not went and learned archaeology and all that sort of stuff, so I don't know all that stuff. I only know what the apologists have learned from those that they've went and learned all that stuff from or about.
Personally, I prefer reading as close to the original text as I could possibly get. Now that's limited, but I'd just rather read that.
Yeah. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, also I don't know enough other languages to do that either.
Yeah, Rick, you need to brush up on your Aramaic.
Yeah.
And also probably your Greek. That's an important one too.
And my Hebrew, or my ancient Hebrew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could deal with Aramaic on that. Most of what's available, because Aramaic is a form of Hebrew. From the time of Christ, it was still being spoken. You're probably good with just that.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about for possibly the text that is in, the Old Testament. Because
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
it depends
written
on the version too that you're using.
Yeah, but if you want to read it in the original language, it would be some sort of ancient Hebrew, I believe.
Yeah, it'd be Egyptian. Because when you compare it, and it makes sense because they lived together for a long time, ancient Egyptian and ancient Hebrew are the same language. I mean, they both come from the same Semitic.
Yeah, until it says using apologetics doesn't make you magically know archaeology. Best to learn things you don't know about alone until you learn about them. Yes, but it doesn't magically make you know archaeology, but you can learn from people who do know archaeology. Or apologists usually have learned from those people. Apologists usually gather all those resources into one. Well, some of them do, some of them don't, I would say. So if you, well, or you could just learn from archaeologists on the subject. And sometimes uh, apologists are usually in one particular field, and that is the one that they're teaching on in their apologetics.
I mean, at the end of the day, apologetics is really just a circular philosophy.
And maybe I'm using the wrong word using apologetics either. I don't know. They do not gather all the resources. That's what makes them apologists. Or maybe my better term, maybe commentator. I'm not sure what the best term would be. I'm thinking apologist, but apologetics.
Well, one of the reasons I don't like apologetics is because it's a circular philosophy, right? So even if they get something right, the problem is that everything within it defines and reinforces itself, so you just end up running in circles, and you can't really argue for or against it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking ones that might, actually, they look at all the evidence or whatever. I'm not sure what the right words are offhand. But they look at all the evidences and whatever. They look at both ways, and the ones I usually listen to, they present you with what the one view is, and then they present you with what they believe based on the knowledge that they have. And maybe that's not an apologist, I'm not sure. We can hear about ideas and think on them, but we should never just take what anyone says as must be so. True, but if somebody knows about archaeology, hopefully you can trust them.
It's best to have multiple sources.
Yeah. Although technically, demons aren't affected by light and all that, I don't think.
Well, it depends. Does he have a corporeal body or not?
Yeah, or is he in the physical? I'm gonna put some shading on him and all that, anyways. We'll say the lighting's coming from over this way.
I mean, if he can interact with the world, I would assume he has a corporeal form he can take. And if he has a corporeal form, then lighting and shadows should affect it.
Must be so because they know more than me. No, because most of the people that I listen to, Dillard, they share both sides of the coin. They don't just share one side of the coin.
But what happens when it's not a coin?
Yeah.
What happens when it's a dodecahedron?
Well, they share multiple interpretations. How about that? And then they share what they think is the best interpretation based on whatever reason. What's going on here? Oh, it's a guy with his head mustache. That's like taking Democrats' word on something because you're also a Democrat. Well, like I said, Dillard, maybe apologist wasn't the right word.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of something else because I know a lot of Christian apologetics, and there's really only one side, and the whole point is to defend that side. And actually, most other Christians don't like apologetics either.
But to defend that side, you need to know what the other side
No,
is
I mean,
saying.
there's no devil's advocacy or anything.
Yeah.
It's a single-sided defense.
Yeah. Well, then that's not, I don't think, a true defense in Christian.
Yeah, well, this is also why apologetics has a very bad rap that it kind of deserves.
So, like I said, I'm not sure what the best name for somebody like that is.
Is the stream muted?
No?
No. There is just no sound going on sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, Rick, I don't even want to know what's going on with the lighting here.
Well, it's like I said, it's coming from over this way somewhere. If you can see what I'm pointing at.
I can.
Do you also believe that idiot with the stupid hair on Ancient Aliens? He studies that stuff. It must be so. No? Actually, I don't think I've listened to.
Oh God, what's his name? He's got like a JoJo Bizarre Adventures name. Giorgio, that's his name. Giorgio Tsoukalos. That dude's got really crazy hair and really crazy ideas. I don't even know if he fully believes them. I think he just wants people to think he believes them because it makes him a lot of money. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Actually, I like the show too. I don't believe, like, anything that's on that show, but it is really entertaining.
I might have seen something similar. I do. Do I believe? I actually believe on life on other planets. I know most Christians don't.
Oh no, it's the whole ancient aliens theory though.
Yeah.
That's what that show is about. It's not about whether you believe or not about life on other planets.
Yeah.
It's about specifically believing that life from other planets have come to this planet in the past, and that's why like the pyramids were made and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't even believe half his crap. Every theory that comes across his desk, he defends to the death.
Yeah, because it makes him a lot of money, and honestly, I would probably at least try to find a way to defend it to the death in his position, because there's a scholarly aptitude to be able to take a side you don't believe in that far just to entertain the thought. Like that's like the whole thing about the devil's advocacy, right? You don't. At the end of the day, you don't have to believe it, but at least while you're arguing it, you have to like kind of make yourself temporarily believe whatever you're arguing for. You know, it's like a practice.
Yeah.
He'll die on a hill made of money. Yeah, he will. I used to watch that stuff with my dad. We'd laugh the whole way through. And then there's people who I know will watch that show for the entertainment value, and they'll wonder like, how can you watch Alex Jones? It's like, dude, to me that's the same thing. It's just entertainment value. This stuff is funny to me. The History Channel Mermaid Edition. Remember when the History Channel actually used to be about history? I remember that. They used to have like docu-series about wars and stuff like that all the time. Even like taking the more down-to-earth and realistic version of wars from grandized historical events. Like you'd get like there was even a series about the different wars in the Bible and talking about the military strategies in them. But then they kind of just stopped doing that, and they're like, nah, man, American Pickers. I think Ancient Aliens is really what started doing stuff like that. Modern Marvels, which is still a good show, but its high presentation kind of forced the History Channel towards things like Pawn Stars and American Pickers. And then they made H2, which is kind of like MTV2, but just like with that show, it stopped being about the thing they made the channel for and started doing the same things the main channel was for. You have to go to the Military History Channel if you want anything remotely historical.
So, you want to promote anything, Metal?
I guess. What's today? Today's Wednesday. You know, I didn't stream last night. I probably will tonight. I don't know. Maybe. But otherwise, just go to xdynamuschaos.com and check out the stuff I've been doing. I haven't put a lot up on there. I'll probably at least add a character page or two soon. I have a few drafts sitting there waiting that I could just finish off and publish.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on as usual, Metal. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for coming by, chatting up with me. And Metal, it's been a good time.
When my internet allowed it.
Yeah. Hopefully you all had a good time. I guess we will hopefully see you all tomorrow for high noon. So I'd like to promote the Woodcon Society of Hamilton. The Woodcon Hamilton.
He's trying to promote pagans on your stream, Rick.
So I guess we'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful night, day, whatever it might be.